welcome back to the channel, and here today I have some Fall Guys tips for the new maps. You know, nothing drastic, but if you're new to the game, new to the maps, these may help you just a tiny little bit. And we're going to start with War Guys. Hit the like button, all that stuff if you wish to, but let's just jump into it. So War Guys basically is the new race, or one of the new races, and it all relies on positioning blocks and using your grab, because I've seen a lot of people in games that I've been in just trying to jump from section to section or block to block without actually using the grab button. But the grab in this is extremely important because one, you need to move the blocks to get them into position, and two, some of the blocks are just slightly too big for you to jump on. So from the floor to the block that you're trying to get, you can actually grab onto the edge of it and pull yourself up. Same with the next taller block, you can jump off the block you're on onto the taller block, but you need to grab and pull yourself up. Also as well, what you need to do is when you're on the highest ones and you're jumping to the end wall before the next section, always, if you can, dive and then grab at the end of the dive. You're going to get more range, slightly little bit more height, and then you grab for coverage to stop yourself from falling. Now the only other tip I would give on this map is to try to stay away from everybody else, because people don't know the mechanics right now and they don't really know what they're doing. They're waiting for other people to put things in place for them, so they'll hang around all in one area, and then all that's going to do is everyone's bouncing into each other and getting in each other's way. So potentially you could start doing that and see if you can get a quick easy way up, but if everyone starts to get in your way, just leave the pack, go somewhere else inside the little section that you're in and set up blocks for yourself. A lot of people won't even realize you're doing it, and you could set yourself up to get over the wall while everyone else is struggling. I'm going to drop a gameplay here of pretty much my cleanest run I've had so far, where I didn't really need to drop down into any section because all the things just lined up perfectly. I'll leave it on for you to see. Next up we have Night Fever, the other race that has came into the game, and this one's relatively easy. It's your typical start to finish race, you know, just avoiding obstacles. However, in this map you have to be aware of the bridges because they have little holes missing in the sections that you're running on, and if you're not aware of where they are, you're just going to run and drop straight down one of those holes. So you got to be really careful about where you're running. At the very start you go across this little bridge with some of them little holes in, and you get these swinging axes going around and around and around. They're not terribly difficult to time, but they don't swing backwards and forwards, they go all the way around. So if it's swinging to the left, from the left to the right, it's always going to be swinging left to right, left to right. So you got to keep in mind, look at where they're swinging, follow it to be able to dodge them. Next up you have the little roller things with the triangle pink plastic things in that knock you off. Really irritating, really annoying. But what I do with this is the logs are split up into sections, and those sections denote where a pink triangle may be. So what I do is I just wait for one of the pink triangles to pass in front of me and then step into that lane, wait for another pink one and then step into that lane, and just constantly moving forward section by section after a pink thing has gone past me. If I see that I can clear a couple of sections, of course I will take that too. Really your biggest enemy here is other people getting in your way. The second lot of logs with the triangles on, they are a little bit faster and there's a little bit more triangles, but what I've noticed with that one is if you clear the first triangle and just run straight ahead, most of the time you are going to clear the entire thing. It's really weird, it's really weirdly timed. You'd think that it would be more difficult, but if you time it right, you can just run straight from one edge to the other. And last but not least, at least, you know, one of the obstacles left on this is the big rolling logs from left to right. I think they're called big ficus or whatever the hell they call them, or thick big bowls log thing. I don't know what it's called, but basically it's two lengthy logs with loads of spikes on, swinging from left to right, going across a bridge with the holes in the bridge too. So it's very similar to the very start of the map, but the big long like spinning left to right logs are quite a nuisance, and they're very misjudged, because I've seen a lot of people thinking they're going to make it past it and then get knocked off or knocked down one of the holes. What you should do in this section, and what I do, is just wait at the front of the bridge and go either as far as to the right you can or as far as to the left as you can, and when the log swings your way and stops at its peak and starts to swing back, then just make a beeline straight forward, because at that point the log has to swing all the other way and then come all the way back, so you've got the most amount of time to make it through that section. Again, here momentum does carry you. The second one usually is in sync, so all you have to do is just run in a straight line, but if it's not in sync, again, just wait at the front of it and wait for it to hit its peak and go past you, and then just run in a straight line. The end bit just has bridges, you just gotta be careful about which one you're picking. So here we have Egg Siege, a twist on the egg scramble that we are used to seeing. It's just made a little bit more difficult, because you can't just pick up an egg and throw it straight into your box like you can on Egg Scramble. You have to really think about what you're doing. So all the eggs are in the middle across some bridges, and those bridges often go up and down to stop you from just picking up an egg and running back over the bridge. So your best bet is to try and get a gold one and run it back in the path that you see me running. I get knocked out by an axe because I didn't know they were there, but once you get it to your section, it becomes relatively easy to keep them there. All you have to do is defend on the runways that are on the left and the right. Just stand there and wait for people to come up and just knock them back down. The defense on this is just ridiculously easy. The problem is getting the balls into the section first. Now, one tactic that I was using on another game when I was playing this is I would just ran to the middle where all the eggs are, and I was just throwing them off the edge towards the blue basket, but on the floor underneath the bridge, and then my teammates were just picking them up and running up with them. So, you know, if you can, just get in the mix in the middle of the eggs, throw them all onto the floor, and hope that your team or anyone that you are playing with can pick them up and run them into the basket. And last but not least, Hoopsie Legend, a Hoopsie Daisy type game, except you're a single player and you have to get 6 points worth of rings before you qualify, and there are only a certain amount of people that can qualify, so you have to be one of the first 15 people to hit 6 points. Now, all the rings cost 1 point, or give you 1 point I should say, and the gold rings I believe give you 5, so you just need to get one normal ring, get one gold ring, and you are qualified. Now, the gold rings often spawn, but they spawn in very difficult places for you to get to. So what I do off the bat is straight away I run and get one of these sets of stairs and push it into the corner where you can see I've pushed it into right now. The problem is that it's random if the gold ring comes down here, but where I have pushed these stairs to, the gold ring spawns in that position on every side of the map. So no matter where you are, you know, push that into the corner in case a gold one spawns. In this gameplay in the background you're seeing, I got very unlucky, because what I tried to do is just hold down one corner of the map, because there are about 2 to 3 rings in grasp, like very close to where you are, and they do regularly spawn, so you could get your 6 quite easily just by sitting in one position, and hopefully the gold one comes down. I got super unlucky and nothing spawned on top of me, but I still managed to qualify, because I think a lot of people panic on this game mode because they're just running around trying to get every ring, and then by the time they make it to a ring, someone else has collected it, so everyone's just losing their head. What you want to do is just chill, wait for the rings to come to you. Obviously, if it's getting towards like 12 out of 15 qualified, then try and run around and find some rings. But if you stay in one position, you will be able to hit like 3 or 4 rings consistently. Hopefully a gold one will spawn and just make things easier. But, you know, for me, it's just holding down one section, much like I do in the normal Hoopsie Daisy as well. And those are kind of just like a small look into the new maps and just general tips that I have found that may help you with your first run-throughs on these levels. I'm sure there'll be very refined kind of routes to take that people will figure out and find. But for right now, I just feel like if you're getting into this for the first time or you haven't played these new maps yet, just try out these tips and see if they help you and see if you can get a crown in the end. Speaking of crowns, you can see my first Season 2 crown right here, right now. Enjoy. Thank you for watching. I've been easynow. You guys have been awesome.